We call this segment Diary of a Mad Black Tweeter. So the prostate thing. I don't use Instagram and all that stuff. I have it, but I don't on my phone. It's not on my phone. It's not. I just, I see it at the office. I never know.
All right, Tyler Perry fans, or should I say Sistas fans? I don't know. But either way, I wanted to do a quick video about the Diary of a Mad Black Tweeter segment of the Sistas After Show special, and I've already done. I feel like somewhat I've done videos on almost every single tweet, but only the ones I felt were worthy of doing a video. Now, I did almost a 40-minute review of the Sistas After Show. And in that video, I think for the most part, I addressed damn near every single tweet of relevance. So I'm not really going to do that here. I just wanted to do this quick video talking about the importance of this particular segment. And Tyler Perry made it clear that, he has Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but he really doesn't have it on his phone. It's only when, he occasionally glances at it when he's in the office that he even knows about, oh, I'm trending, or, this or that. So that pretty much, all but confirms that, yeah, he's probably never heard of me. He's never gets online for Twitter and Instagram, and I don't know about YouTube, but it's like, this isn't like a Tony Stark Thanos thing where it's like, you know me, I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge. No, I don't think I'm on the radar. So that pretty much lets me know that what everybody says is like, man, when you talk about this or when you criticize that, Tyler Perry doesn't see it. Yeah, I think that pretty much confirms it, guys. So I'm a blip. Anyway, well, I'm not even a blip on the radar, but that's all good because I just love the fact I have this community where we can talk about certain things. But, jokes aside and not even Tyler Perry bashing here, I think that this was a great segment due to the fact that, and I want to be honest here, I think Tyler said his producers suggested he do this segment by reading some of the tweets. I think they obviously picked some of the tamer tweets, but at the same time, I'm glad they pulled tweets that actually, and I say this kind of weirdly, mean something. Like, it's easy to get tweets, this show sucks, Tyler Perry can't write, yada yada. But I feel like they picked out specific tweets that actually were in accordance to what a lot of the fans say. And when I say fan, well, no. Viewers say, viewers. Because if you're a true fan and not a stan, you'll admit when something isn't good quality. You're not a blind follower. You actually, and that's kind of like where I see myself. I'm not somebody who only talks Tyler Perry because Tyler can do no wrong and I enjoy all of his shows. That's not true. You watch my content, you should know that. But I feel like this segment is what a lot of fans wish the haves and have-not special had, where it wasn't just a bunch of people who had good things to say about the show and everything because the finale wasn't that great. But at the same time, there's a difference between being rude in your hate versus giving constructive criticism. I feel like this segment in Tyler Perry addressing what a number of people say online was a good reflection on his character by saying, let me address some of these things. And I love the fact that he even poked fun at himself about the twin bed tweet. That tweet had me rolling because, okay, that's on me. But overall, he gave answers like, some of the answers I feel like, these are obviously things that he's tired of addressing because he gets the questions or the complaints a lot. The wigs, the writer's room, but he answered them well. The wigs is the only tweet I felt that was a weird flex, like the $65 an hour, mainly because the amount of scrutiny I've been receiving since the episode aired. I made the tweet about it and the post on Instagram. The number of people who work in hair profession have contacted me either on Instagram or DMs on Twitter or whatever, or email, because on Instagram you can find my email. I've gotten so many like photos of, hey, here's my work, here's my resume, and I'm like, I'm sorry I can't get you a job as someone in the hair department at Tyler Perry Studios, I've been cussed out and everything. You're a gatekeeper. Like, I have no connections at Tyler Perry Studios, for the love of God. So that's why I feel a bit like disdain sometimes, where it's like, you know, I'm on the front lines unwillingly and getting bashed like I have contacts at Tyler Perry Studios, but I don't. I've never even been there. So how am I going to get you a job there? But my anger aside, I think this should happen a little bit more. Maybe it doesn't always have to be in front of the camera. Like, I know Tyler said he doesn't read the tweets and all, but I think, and he doesn't have the writer's room and whatnot on some of the shows. He does on some of the others, but not on like Sistas and the Oval. I suggest a position at Tyler Perry Studios where perhaps there are maybe a small group of people that aren't writers necessarily, but maybe those who kind of monitor what the people are saying. Sure, the ratings are up, but what are the masses saying online? You know, kind of get a feel of, hey, Tyler, the viewers reacted positively to this, or they don't think this particular storyline is well. And maybe he could do, like, maybe they don't always have to be on a Tyler Perry show segment, because we know generally when Tyler Perry gets online and does a video, you know, it gets a pretty good amount of views on Instagram, Twitter, and whatnot. I think that would be a fun little segment he could do, like Diary of a Mad Black Tweeter. It could be like a mini series online he does where he takes like maybe 3 to 5 tweets per quote unquote episode and just talks about it. But obviously he's a busy guy, and I'm not saying it has to be a huge thing, but I just love how there was some fun in the moment where he was able to poke fun at himself as well as the tweeters, but at the same time addressing things that a lot of fans say. And yes, I get it. There are a lot of people who just spew nothing but hate. But what I do with my channel, I try to talk about things I love, talk about things I don't necessarily like all that much, but also give, like, you know, maybe it could have been done this way to make it this a little bit better, or this consistency isn't really lining up with, you know, season 1, that kind of thing. Like, I do my best to be honest with my feedback, but also not just completely bash on something without offering some sort of alternative, even though I know my place as just a consumer of the Tyler Perry project and he's the billionaire. But reading a lot of these tweets, this was obviously those who, like he said, you know, you're not fans, but you watch the show anyway, and that's what helps the ratings. So that's probably going to be something I mention in my Tyler Perry's history with the writer's room thing, but I'll get to that soon enough. But overall, I think Diary of a Mad Black Tweeter is, you know, something Tyler Perry should probably consider. Like I said, even if he's not the one going through all the tweets himself, but perhaps having like a small group of people to kind of do that, where they just go online after each episode of a certain show and, hey Tyler, you know, or excuse me, I feel like if I ever meet Tyler Perry, I will say nothing but Mr. Perry, because I feel like some of the actors I've talked with said Mr. Perry, and I'm like, you know what, I feel like if I ever met him, it would definitely be Mr. Perry. But basically, hey Mr. Perry, we noticed like this episode such and such, and you know, that way Tyler isn't just writing to write. Like he said, he has like the social media and whatnot, but he doesn't really get on there, usually based the success on projects based on the ratings. But I think and obviously, I mean, from his perspective, I want to put myself in his shoes. I get what he does now. You know, why he does what he does. Like, hey, I have all the social media, but I'm not really on there. I don't have a writer's room. I write my stuff. I put it out there. The ratings are high. I speak to my audience, and the ratings are high, meaning that the audience is there to receive what I'm saying. It's just that he doesn't necessarily look or see all of the negative feedback. So I get why he does what he does. It's just that I think it would be great that if some of the tweets that were actually talking about something come into play when he writes his script for season 4, which he's currently doing. That's why I'm somewhat interested in what season 4 has to bring. Will Tyler look at some of these quote unquote constructive criticism tweets and put them into action? Or based off what he said after responding to the prostate tweet in the writer's room thing, don't you think I'm specific in what I'm writing? Like, let me do me. I know what I'm doing, and that's why the show's #1. It's possible that, you know, he's like, hey, I addressed these tweets because my producer said I should, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because the show's #1. And, well, there it is. But let me just say, I enjoyed the segment, and I feel like I've talked about it as much as I need to. But I really hope that, you know, if he has other episodes of the Tyler Perry Show with the cast of his various other Viacom projects, that he does a segment like this, because I would really love to get his feedback on some of the things. But let me just say that like he said, there are other projects now that he has writers' rooms for, like Assisted Living and House of Pain. And I feel, and I don't know this to be true, but especially with Assisted Living, I feel like there are some people on that show who either work in front of the camera or behind the camera, but I feel like they watch damn near every single one of my episode reviews or just videos in general on Assisted Living and wrote notes, because that's why I praise season 2 so much, because it feels like everything I said in my videos made it to the screen, and I'm like, holy crap, and it improved. House of Pain, it's better than season 9, that's for sure. I'm not saying it's great, but I think there are a lot of major improvements to it. So, like I said before, like with Tyler Perry not being on social media, it's very, very likely I'm not even on the radar. But I feel like with some of these projects, I feel like some people have watched some of my content. It's like, hey, this guy said this, so we need to do that. And it works. So I don't know. I ain't trying to say I got an ego over here or anything, but it just feels like it sometimes. It's like when you're watching a movie and it's like you guess something or say it out loud, but then the character says it or it happens in the movie. It's like, it's kind of like that. So with that being said, Diary from Black Tweeter, I love it. And I hope it comes back in a future installment of the Tyler Perry Show, or he makes like a little mini series about it. It's great. And it makes it feel like, well, I don't want to make it sound like our voices are heard. It's just like, because not everybody has negative things to say. I feel like, well, no, actually on social media, they do a good job of like, selecting tweets and whatnot and saying so-and-so gives it a rave review about the Oval and whatnot. So there's that. But, not everything has to be negative. But I feel like if he does have another segment like this in the future, don't only have the negative tweets, but put out some of the positive ones too. Because there are people, like me, who do praise when the show's good, make funny videos or memes about it. So there's that. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you all in the next video.